All right, so you've been digging deep into AI and its impact on, the future of work,
Absolutely.
right? And we have got your pile of research, your articles, even those scribbled notes.
Right.
And today we are pulling out the stuff that matters most to you.
Sounds good.
We've got this INSEAD lecture from Francois Candelon,
Hmm.
and he's a really big name in AI augmentation.
Yeah, one of the leading thinkers in this space for sure.
And get this, we are actually using AI to help us analyze this lecture itself. So
Whoa.
talk about meta, right?
Very meta. Very meta.
Yeah, so
It's fascinating because Candelon's focus isn't on, the whole AI replacing us thing. It's really about this human play SFS AI idea.
okay.
He's all about that partnership, not some robot takeover scenario.
So not humans versus machines, but more like humans with machines.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that better.
Yeah, definitely.
To kind of figure out how this partnership actually works in the real world,
Hmm.
Candelon's team ran some large-scale experiments with real professionals. And this is where my eyebrows went up. They found that AI significantly boosted creativity and innovation.
Yeah, their first experiment showed that people were 40% better at coming up with creative products when they used AI.
30%!
Yeah, that's not just a little bump, it's a huge leap.
Okay, color me intrigued, but also a bit skeptical. I mean, was it the AI itself like sparking ideas, or was it more that the AI was taking care of the boring stuff?
Hmm.
So people had more brain space for, the creative thinking.
That's a great question. It seems like AI was really good at handling those like repetitive, time-consuming tasks,
Yeah.
which freed people up to focus on the big picture brainstorming experimenting.
Right.
It was like having a super efficient assistant who never got tired.
Okay, so that makes sense. It's like the AI was clearing the mental clutter
Yeah.
so the good ideas could surface. But hold on, there's a twist to this, right?
Uh-huh.
Didn't these same experiments show that AI actually hurt performance when it came to like complex problem solving?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. While AI was a rock star for creativity,
Right.
it actually hindered performance on tasks that required strategic thinking analysis and, making tough decisions.
Okay, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Why would AI help with creativity,
Hmm.
but then it backfires when it comes to the kind of complex thinking that leaders and experts are known for?
Right.
So if I'm understanding this right, the skills that make someone a top performer without AI might not be the same skills that help them succeed when they're working with AI.
Precisely. It's not just about being smart or experienced. It's about having the skills to collaborate effectively with AI.
Okay.
And this changes everything. This changes how we think about hiring training, even how we spot talent in the first place.
This has major implications for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve, right? I mean, are we talking about learning like new technical skills, or is it more about adapting our thinking and approach to work?
It's a bit of both, actually, in their second experiment. Candelon's team looked at whether AI could help people do jobs they hadn't been trained for at all. And get this, consultants with zero data science background were suddenly able to perform data science tasks almost as well as experienced data scientists, all thanks to AI.
Wait, are you telling me AI can turn anyone into an instant expert?
Well,
That sounds almost too good to be true.
there's a catch. Of course, Candelon calls it the exoskeleton effect.
Okay.
Imagine an exoskeleton giving you like superhuman strength.
Okay.
You can lift incredible weights, but you're not actually building your own muscles.
Right.
It's the same with AI. It gives you this temporary ability,
Right.
but it doesn't mean you've actually learned or mastered the skill itself.
So it's like having AI as a crutch.
Hmm.
You can do amazing things with it.
Yeah.
But what happens when you take that crutch away? Are we in danger of becoming overly reliant on AI and letting our own skills just atrophy?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm starting to see how this human plus AI partnership could get a little complicated.
That's exactly the kind of question we need to be asking. What are the long-term implications of relying on AI for tasks we haven't mastered ourselves?
And how to make sure we're using AI responsibly. It
Right.
sounds like we can't just throw AI at every problem and expect magic to happen.
Absolutely. We need to find the right balance between human and AI contributions.
Right.
Figuring out which tasks are best suited for AI
Mm-hmm.
and which ones require the unique skills and judgment that only humans can bring to the table.
This is getting really thought-provoking.
Yeah,
Candelon clearly isn't just like hyping up AI. He's asking the tough questions about how it changes the game for all of us.
right.
All right, so we've got the foundation.
Mhm.
AI can boost creativity.
Yep.
It can act like an exoskeleton to expand our abilities.
Mhm.
But it also raises a ton of questions about skill development, over-reliance, and finding that right balance.
For sure.
What's next in our deep dive? I'm ready to get even deeper into the how-to of this human-play-less AI partnership.
Well, Candelon actually offers a framework for figuring out when to use AI and how to structure that partnership.
Okay.
So we should dive into that
Oh,
next.
perfect. Let's do it. Okay. All right. A framework, you say. I'm all about having something practical to take away from this. Lay it on me.
Yeah, so Candelon uses this four-quadrant matrix, which sounds kind of complicated, but it's really about two simple questions. How good are humans at a task without AI, and how good is AI at that same task on its own?
Okay. So we're sizing up both the human and the AI, seeing what each brings to the table independently. That's a good starting point. So walk me through these quadrants. What's the first scenario?
All right, so the first quadrant is where both humans and AI excel on their own. Think of things like brainstorming sessions or writing the first draft of a report. Humans are good at those, and it turns out so is AI.
So in that case, AI is more like a turbo boost. It's not taking over. It's helping us do those things even better and faster.
Exactly. AI handles the routine parts like gathering data or organizing information, which frees up humans for the strategic stuff, the big ideas, and making sure the final product is top-notch. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
That makes a lot of sense. But what about tasks where AI is actually better than humans? I'm thinking about things like analyzing huge data sets or spotting patterns that our brains might miss. That's where it gets a little tricky, right?
You're hitting on the second quadrant, and this is where we need to tread carefully. It's easy to get seduced by AI's power and start relying on it too much. It's like using a GPS to navigate everywhere. You might get where you're going, but you'll never learn the roads yourself.
And you might end up driving off a cliff if the GPS glitches. Blindly trusting AI without understanding how it works or where it might go wrong is definitely a recipe for disaster. So in those situations when AI outshines humans, what's the smart approach?
Candelon's advice is to use AI strategically, not blindly. Do lots of testing to make sure it's actually adding value and not introducing new risks. Maybe AI is great for generating initial ideas or identifying things we might have overlooked, but always with a critical eye and human oversight.
Makes sense. Don't let AI call the shots. Basically, keep the humans in the loop. Now, what about the flip side? Those tasks where humans are still the reigning champions? Isn't that where the exoskeleton idea comes into play?
You got it. That's the third quadrant. Remember, the exoskeleton is powerful because it lets us do things we couldn't do on our own. But it's important to remember, it's not a replacement for actually building those skills ourselves.
Right, it's like using a calculator to do complex math. You might get the right answer, but if you don't understand the underlying principles, you're in trouble if the calculator breaks. We need to make sure people are still learning and growing, even when AI is giving them a boost. So what about the final quadrant? What happens when neither humans nor AI are particularly good at a task?
That's a tricky one. It might be that the task needs to be rethought completely, or maybe we need to invest in developing more advanced AI. It's a signal to step back and reassess, rather than forcing a solution where it doesn't fit.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Sometimes you just need a different tool for the job. This framework is really helpful. It gives a clear way to think about how to best use AI depending on the situation.
And remember, this isn't a static thing. The line between what humans do best and what AI does best is constantly shifting. We need to be adaptable and willing to learn as the technology evolves.
Speaking of evolving, Candelon made this interesting comment about coding becoming the new Latin in an AI-driven world. What did he mean by that? I'm not sure I'm ready to go back to Latin class.
Well, think about it. Latin was the language of scholarship and knowledge for centuries. Candelon is saying that coding is becoming that foundational language for understanding and interacting with AI. It's not necessarily about becoming a coding whiz. It's more about developing that computational way of thinking, breaking down problems into steps, understanding how data works. It's like AI is creating its own literacy requirement.
I hadn't considered coding that way. So it's not about writing code. It's about being able to read the language of AI to understand its logic. That's a fascinating idea. If coding is the new Latin, what other skills will be essential in this AI-augmented world? What else should we be learning?
Well, we've talked about critical thinking and adaptability. Those are key. AI can do amazing things, but it takes humans to interpret the results, make decisions, and ensure that AI is being used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not just about technical skills, it's about those uniquely human qualities: judgment, creativity, empathy. The jobs of the future will require a blend of both.
Absolutely. As AI keeps advancing, our ability to learn, adapt, and work effectively with both humans and AI will be what sets us apart.
I'm feeling like we've covered a lot of ground here. We've gone from the basics of human P-less AI to practical strategies for making that partnership work. Where do we go from here?
It's important to remember this is just the beginning. AI is evolving so fast, and with every new development comes new possibilities and new challenges.
That's what makes this so exciting. It feels like we're exploring uncharted territory. And the more we learn, the more questions we uncover. But hold on, before we get too carried away with the excitement of the unknown, we need to bring it back to our listener. What are the key takeaways they should be thinking about as they navigate this AI-augmented world?
Well, first and foremost, think about your own skills.
Mm-hmm.
What are the foundational skills you need to thrive in this new world? Do you need to learn a new language like coding? Or are there other ways to develop that computational thinking Candelon was talking about?
I love that. It's about taking ownership of your own development and being proactive. We're not just passengers on this AI train. We have the power to choose our destination.
Yeah, it's like we've been given this incredible toolkit, but, it's up to us to figure out how to use it wisely.
Right.
There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this power, right?
Absolutely. This isn't just about individual careers anymore. It's about shaping the future of work for everyone. And that brings us back to the meta aspect of all this.
Just like Candelon used AI to enhance his lecture, we're using AI to unpack his ideas and make them relevant to you.
Yeah.
It's like AI inception.
We've come full circle, but seriously, this shows how powerful AI can be when it's used thoughtfully. It's not about replacing humans, it's about amplifying our abilities and helping us tackle bigger challenges. I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the future of work after this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not something to be afraid of, it's an opportunity to create something amazing.
That's the spirit. This isn't about passively waiting to see what happens. It's about actively shaping the future we want.
So to wrap things up, what's the one big question our listeners should be pondering as they go about their day?
Oh, really?
What's the thought we want to leave them with?
If coding is the new Latin, what's the Greek of your field?
Ooh.
What are the other essential languages or skills that will be crucial in an AI-driven world?
I love that question. It's not just about learning to code. It's about understanding the deeper principles behind AI, the logic, the ethics, the possibilities. It's about becoming fluent in the language of the future. And with that, I think we've reached the bottom of our deep dive.
We've explored the depths of AI augmentation and come back with some valuable treasures.
It's been a journey, but remember, this is just the beginning. The world of AI is constantly evolving, so keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those tough questions.
The future of work is in your hands.
Until next time, happy diving!